This is the Gweike air compressor that comes for that's for the M3 laser here. When you get it, it comes with just a power supply cord that you can plug. You know, I have my own cord I made, but it comes with a cord that you just plug into the wall. But there's no way to disconnect other than unplugging it. So today we're going to do a mod where we're going to probably up in here, cut a hole and mount a disconnect switch, which is this over here. So this unit, this here will mount to the panel there on the compressor. This will go inside. Then we have our switch here to turn it on and off. I have the side panel of the compressor off, and it might be hard to see, but there's back here around this panel, there's not really anything down here. This is where the power comes in on the front, but there's nothing behind the panel there, so that's an empty space we can use. There's the where the power comes in. Then up here, it's hard to see, but I traced out that front panel piece with a marker to mark the holes. It'll be this piece here. So we're gonna center punch these holes and drill them out. Just because it was a little easier to work on, I went ahead and made up my connections out here and my split phase 240 volt coming in on the bottom and coming out on the top. My ground will be continuous. Going over, I'll reconnect it back up over here where it was linked at before. Then I got my power, line those back on a terminal strip where they were before. So this is all made up now. I'll pop it in and attach the faceplate and get it connected. All right, now the disconnect is all assembled. Power connections go back there where they were before, and we're ready to power on. So the reason why I wanted to do this mod is the compressor plugged in, but with the compressor turned off, the e-stop pressed, and the chiller turned off, there's these two timing valves that are always running. Down here, there's one here, then one further along on the back side over there. Every time there's power applied to the compressor, those two valves will always be timing and do an automatic drain to get rid of water and condensation from the tank. But I don't always want that to happen if I'm not going to be using the laser. I want to store my air for use later. So to stop it from venting, I have to unplug the compressor currently. But then when I go to plug the compressor back in, those timing valves will fire right away pretty much. So when I go to plug in the plug, sometimes there'll be a spark that'll happen. And to prevent wear on the terminals, you see on here, there's a little bit of burn marks where it's arcing as I plug the plug in, right? So by having this disconnect, I can turn power off so there's no current draw. So when I plug the plug in, or I'll be able to leave it plugged in at this point, there'll be no arcing, and everything can be controlled from the disconnect switch. Now I have the compressor plugged in, and you'll see when I turn the disconnect on, without anything else being turned on over here, you'll hear the those timing valves fire and drain before anything else over here started. So turn it on. So you heard that. The screen's starting to boot up now. Like everything's stopped and turned off on here that I can. There's always power draw if it's plugged in, and the only way to stop that from happening is to unplug it or to add a disconnect like this, or have a disconnect on your wall where you're feeding your compressor from.